First contact. The sleek silver spacecraft pierced Earth's atmosphere, its hull shimmering as it descended toward the United Nations headquarters in New York City. Inside, Ambassador Zara of the Galactic Confederation adjusted her translucent robes, her iridescent skin reflecting the soft blue glow of the ship's interior. As the craft touched down on the specially prepared landing pad, Zara took a deep breath, steeling herself for her first encounter with the primitive species known as humans. Her tentacles twitched with a mixture of anticipation and disdain. The Galactic Confederation had long debated whether to make contact with Earth, and Zara had vocally opposed the idea. Humans were notoriously unpredictable, often violent, and technologically backward. Yet here she was, tasked with establishing diplomatic relations. The ship's doors hissed open, revealing a sea of faces, human faces. Zara suppressed a shudder as she glided down the ramp, her hover disc humming softly. The gathered crowd gasped and murmured, their eyes wide with wonder and fear. Zara noted their varied hues and features, so unlike the uniform beauty of her own people. A tall human with graying hair stepped forward, extending a hand. "Ambassador Zara, welcome to Earth. I'm Secretary General Chen of the United Nations." Zara stared at the outstretched hand, recalling her briefing on human customs. Reluctantly, she extended a tentacle, allowing it to brush against Chen's skin. The contact sent an unexpected tingle through her form. "Greetings, Secretary General Chen," Zara replied, her universal translator converting her melodic tones into crisp English. "I bring tidings from the Galactic Confederation." As Chen led her toward the UN building, Zara observed the humans around her. Their movements seemed erratic, their voices a cacophony of different pitches and tones. How had such a chaotic species managed to achieve spaceflight, however rudimentary? Inside the General Assembly Hall, representatives from every nation on Earth had gathered. Zara floated to the podium, her tentacles gracefully manipulating her hover disk's controls. She gazed out at the sea of faces, noting the mix of emotions: excitement, fear, hope, suspicion. "People of Earth," Zara began, her voice resonating through the hall. "For centuries, the Galactic Confederation has watched your planet from afar. We have observed your wars, your struggles, and your triumphs. Today, we extend an invitation to join the greater galactic community." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Zara continued, outlining the benefits of joining the Confederation: advanced technology, interstellar trade, protection from cosmic threats. But she also emphasized the responsibilities: adherence to galactic law, contributions to the Confederation's scientific and cultural repositories, and a commitment to peace. As she spoke, Zara couldn't help but notice the intensity with which the humans listened. Their eyes seemed to burn with an inner fire, a determination that both intrigued and unsettled her. She had expected apathy or blind acceptance. Instead, she saw a species on the brink of a new era, eager to prove itself. After her speech, Zara fielded questions from the assembled delegates. Their inquiries ranged from the scientific to the philosophical, surprising her with their depth and insight. One question, however, caught her off guard. A young delegate from a small African nation stood up. "Ambassador Zara, you speak of peace and cooperation, yet your body language suggests discomfort. Do you truly believe humans are worthy of joining your confederation?" Zara's tentacles writhed in surprise. How had this human perceived her inner conflict so accurately? She composed herself, choosing her words carefully. "Worthiness is not a factor," she replied. "The Galactic Confederation believes in the potential of all sentient species. Humans have shown remarkable progress in a short time. However, you still have much to learn." The delegate nodded, seemingly satisfied with the diplomatic answer. But as the session continued, Zara found herself increasingly unsettled. These humans were more perceptive, more complex than she had anticipated. As the day drew to a close, Zara retreated to her quarters in the UN building. She initiated contact with the Confederation's High Council, reporting on the day's events. The holographic image of High Counselor Vex materialized before her. "Ambassador Zara, your report is most interesting," Vex mused, his crystalline form shimmering. "These humans seem more adaptable than we anticipated." Zara's tentacles twisted in agreement. "They are unpredictable, High Counselor. I fear they may not easily conform to Confederation standards." Vex's faceted eyes glinted. "Perhaps conformity is not what we need, Zara. Your mission is not just to evaluate humans, but to learn from them. Embrace this opportunity." As the transmission ended, Zara gazed out at the New York skyline. The city glowed with artificial light, a testament to human ingenuity and their refusal to be constrained by nature's cycles. For the first time, she felt a flicker of curiosity about this species. Tomorrow, she would meet with human scientists to discuss technological exchange. Despite her misgivings, Zara found herself looking forward to the encounter. These humans were a puzzle, one she was determined to solve. As she settled into her rest cycle, Zara's last thoughts were of the challenges ahead. She had come to Earth believing humans were unworthy of the Confederation. Now, she wasn't so sure. One thing was certain: this mission would be far more complex than she had ever imagined. The quantum conundrum. Ambassador Zara glided into the bustling laboratory, her iridescent skin shimmering under the harsh fluorescent lights. The facility, a joint venture between the United Nations and the Galactic Confederation, hummed with activity. Human scientists in crisp white coats scurried about, their eyes darting between holographic displays and alien technology with equal parts wonder and determination. At the center of the chaos stood Dr. Elara Chen, Earth's leading quantum physicist and daughter of UN Secretary-General Chen. Her wild mane of silver-streaked black hair seemed to crackle with the same energy that radiated from her intense dark eyes. As Zara approached, Elara's gaze snapped up from her datapad, a mix of curiosity and challenge evident in her expression. "Ambassador," Elara nodded curtly, "welcome to Project Nexus. I hope you're ready to have your tentacles tied in knots." Zara's translator struggled momentarily with the idiom, but she grasped the intent. "Dr. Chen, I assure you, my species' cognitive abilities far surpass." "Save it," Elara interrupted, tapping her datapad. A massive hologram sprang to life between them, displaying a swirling vortex of subatomic particles. "This is why you're here. We've discovered something that shouldn't exist." Zara's tentacles curled in surprise as she studied the hologram. The particle behavior defied everything she knew about quantum mechanics. "Impossible," she murmured. Elara's lips curled into a smirk. "Funny, that's exactly what your Confederation eggheads said when we sent them the data. But here it is, breaking every rule in your fancy galactic physics textbooks." For the first time since arriving on Earth, Zara felt a flicker of genuine respect for a human. She extended a tentacle towards the hologram, manipulating the display with practiced ease. This could revolutionize space travel, energy production, even the fundamental nature of reality itself. "Exactly," Elara nodded, her excitement palpable. "But we've hit a wall. Every time we try to stabilize the reaction, it fizzles out. We need your Confederation's quantum harmonic resonators to contain it." Zara's tentacles writhed in agitation. Sharing such advanced technology with humans went against every protocol. Yet, the potential of this discovery— "The High Council will need convincing," she said slowly. Elara's eyes flashed. "Then convince them, Ambassador. Unless you're afraid a bunch of primitive humans might outshine your almighty Confederation." Before Zara could retort, alarms blared throughout the facility. The hologram flickered and expanded, showing a critical energy spike in the experimental chamber. Elara cursed, her fingers flying over control panels. "The containment field is failing," she shouted over the din. "If that reaction goes critical, it'll tear a hole in space-time big enough to swallow half the solar system." Without hesitation, Zara interfaced directly with the lab's systems, her advanced neural implants allowing her to process data at incredible speeds. "Your methods are crude," she said, tentacles dancing across holographic interfaces, "but ingenious. If we reroute power through the auxiliary generators and modify the field harmonics." Ilara caught on immediately, her hands ablur as she implemented Zara's suggestions with lightning speed. For several tense moments, human and alien worked in perfect synchronization, their differences forgotten in the face of impending disaster. Suddenly, the alarms fell silent. The hologram stabilized, showing the quantum reaction settling into a stable, pulsating rhythm. Ilara sagged against a console, exhaustion and relief etched on her face. We did it." Zara felt an unfamiliar sensation, a rush of exhilaration, tinged with something she couldn't quite identify. "Indeed, Dr. Chen, it seems our cooperation has yielded unexpected results." As the lab erupted in cheers, Ilara turned to Zara, a new respect in her eyes. "You know, for a stuck-up alien diplomat, you're not half bad in a crisis." Zara's translator once again struggled with the colloquialism, but she understood the sentiment. "And for a primitive human scientist, your insights are intriguing." A sleek grin spread across Ilara's face. "Oh, Ambassador, you ain't seen nothing yet. How about we celebrate our little breakthrough? I know a place that serves a mean pan-galactic gargle blaster." Zara blinked in confusion. "I'm unfamiliar with that beverage." Ilara laughed, a sound that sent an unexpected shiver through Zara's form. "Trust me, it's out of this world. Come on, let your tentacles down for once. You might actually enjoy fraternizing with us lowly humans." Against her better judgment, Zara found herself agreeing. As they left the lab, she couldn't help but ponder the day's events. Working alongside Ilara had been stimulating. Perhaps there was more to these humans than she had initially believed. Little did Zara know, this was just the beginning. The quantum discovery they had just made would soon catapult Earth and the Galactic Confederation into an adventure beyond anything they could have imagined. And at the heart of it all, an unlikely partnership between a skeptical alien diplomat and a brilliant human scientist would change the course of galactic history forever. As they stepped out into the New York night, the city's lights twinkling like earthbound stars, Zara felt a strange sense of anticipation. For the first time since arriving on this bewildering planet, she was genuinely excited to see what tomorrow would bring. Echoes of eternity. The pan-galactic gargle blaster, as it turned out, packed quite a punch. Zara's usually immaculate tentacles were slightly disheveled as she floated into the UN's secure briefing room the next morning. Dr. Ilara Chen was already there, looking annoyingly chipper despite the late night. "Good morning, Ambassador," Ilara grinned, offering a steaming mug. "Thought you might need this. It's called coffee, Earth's own version of rocket fuel." Zara accepted the drink warily, her sensory tendrils recoiling at the strong aroma. "Dr. Chen, while last night was enlightening, we have more pressing matters to discuss." Before Ilara could respond, the room's holographic projector hummed to life. The imposing figure of High Counselor Vex materialized, his crystalline form casting prismatic light across the room. "Ambassador Zara, Dr. Chen," Vex's voice resonated with urgency. "We've detected a grave threat to both Earth and the Confederation. The quantum anomaly you've discovered has caught the attention of the Void Heralds." Ilara frowned. "I'm sorry, the who now?" Zara's tentacles writhed in distress. "A mythical race, long thought extinct. They're said to be beings of pure energy, existing between dimensions. If they're real, and they're coming here..." "Earth is in danger," Vex finished. "As is the entire galaxy. The Void Heralds consume reality itself. Your quantum discovery could be the key to stopping them, or the trigger for our annihilation." Ilara's eyes widened. Well, that escalated quickly. "So, what's the plan? Please tell me we have a plan." Vex's faceted eyes gleamed. We're dispatching our most advanced research vessel, the Stellar Horizon, to Earth. Ambassador Zara, you and Dr. Chen will join its crew. Your mission is to weaponize the quantum anomaly against the Void Heralds. Now hold on, Ilara protested. I'm not leaving Earth. My family, my work. We'll cease to exist if we fail, Zara interrupted, surprising herself with the passion in her voice. Dr. Chen, Ilara, your planet needs you. The galaxy needs you. For a moment, the two locked eyes. Ilara saw determination in Zara's alien gaze, while Zara recognized a fierce intelligence burning in Ilara's. Finally, Ilara nodded. All right, sign me up for Operation Save the Universe. When do we leave? The answer came sooner than expected. Within hours, Zara and Ilara found themselves aboard a sleek shuttle, rocketing towards the upper atmosphere where the stellar horizon awaited. As Earth shrank beneath them, Ilara pressed her hand against the viewport. I've dreamed of this moment my whole life, she whispered. I just never imagined it would be under these circumstances. Zara felt an unfamiliar pang in her chest. Was it empathy? Your world is beautiful, Ilara. We will do everything in our power to protect it. The Stellar Horizon was a marvel of Confederation engineering, a city-sized vessel powered by miniature stars. As they docked, Zara and Ilara were greeted by the ship's diverse crew, beings from across the galaxy, each more alien than the last. Captain Xarlon, a towering insectoid with compound eyes that shimmered like oil slicks, clicked his mandibles in greeting. Welcome aboard. We're about to make the jump to hyperspace. Our destination, the edge of forever. As the ship surged forward, reality outside the viewports twisted and stretched. Ilara gasped, gripping Zara's arm instinctively. The alien diplomat found she didn't mind the contact. Months passed in the blink of an eye as they traveled. Zara and Ilara worked tirelessly, their contrasting approaches to science yielding breakthrough after breakthrough. The quantum anomaly was slowly revealing its secrets, but time was running out. One cycle, as Ilara slept, Zara found herself drawn to the ship's observation deck. The view beyond was breathtaking, a swirling nebula of impossible colors, studded with newborn stars. Beautiful, isn't it? Ilara's voice startled her. The human scientist joined her at the viewport, her eyes reflecting the cosmic light show. It is, Zara admitted. Ilara, I owe you an apology. I came to Earth believing humans were beneath us. You've proven me wrong at every turn. Ilara smiled, reaching out to gently stroke one of Zara's tentacles. The alien shivered at the touch. We're not so different, you and I, Ilara murmured. Two beings, tiny in the face of the cosmos, trying to make a difference. Their eyes met, and for a moment, the universe seemed to hold its breath. Zara felt her heart's racing, an impossible warmth spreading through her form. Was this what humans called? The moment was shattered by a violent tremor that shook the entire ship. Alarms blared as Captain Xarlon's voice echoed through the comm system. Battle stations. We've been ambushed by Void Herald scouts. All hands, prepare for dimensional incursion. As chaos erupted around them, Zara and Ilara shared one last look. Whatever happened next, they would face it together, human and alien, united against the darkness. The observation deck's viewports shimmered and cracked as reality itself began to warp. Through the fractures, glimpses of something vast and terrible could be seen. The Void Heralds had arrived. With the fate of two civilizations hanging in the balance, Zara and Ilara raced towards the quantum lab. Their theory was untested, their weapon unproven, but it was the galaxy's only hope. As dimensions collided and the very fabric of space-time trembled, one thing became crystal clear. This was only the beginning of their adventure, and the greatest challenges still lay ahead. Quantum entanglement. The stellar horizon shuddered as reality buckled around it. Zara and Ilara sprinted through twisting corridors, the ship's gravity fluctuating wildly with each dimensional tremor. Crew members of various alien species scrambled to battle stations, their voices a cacophony of urgent clicks, whistles, and guttural sounds. "We need to stabilize the quantum core," Ilara shouted over the din, her hair crackling with static electricity. "If we can harness the anomaly's energy, we might be able to create a dimensional barrier." Zora's tentacles danced across floating holograms as they ran, her alien mind processing data at lightning speed. "Agreed, but the power requirements are astronomical. We'd need to channel the energy of a dying star to generate that kind of field." They burst into the quantum lab, a cavernous chamber dominated by a pulsating orb of pure energy, the contained quantum anomaly they'd discovered on Earth. Around it, a team of the galaxy's brightest minds worked feverishly, their efforts seeming futile against the encroaching void. Captain Zalon's voice crackled over the intercom, tinged with desperation. "Ambassador, Doctor, we're out of time. The Void Heralds are breaching our reality." Ilara's eyes lit up with a dangerous gleam. "A dying star. Zora, that's it. We don't need a star. We have something even more powerful right here." Understanding dawned on Zora's alien features, the quantum anomaly itself, but the risks are better than certain annihilation, Ilara finished, already moving towards the control panel. "We need to invert the containment field, turn it into a beacon." As they worked in perfect synchronization, the viewport at the far end of the lab began to crack. Through the spiderweb fissures, a nightmarish landscape became visible, a realm of swirling chaos where the laws of physics broke down entirely. Tentacles of pure darkness probed through the weakening dimensional barriers, bringing with them a cold that went beyond the physical. Crew members screamed as the tendrils touched them, their very essence seeming to unravel. "Almost there," Ilara muttered, her fingers flying across holographic interfaces. "Zora, I need you to." Her words were cut short as a tendril of void energy lashed out, wrapping around her waist. Ilara cried out in agony as it began to pull her towards the fracturing viewport. Without hesitation, Zora launched herself forward, her tentacles entwining with Ilara's body. "I've got you," she shouted, straining against the impossible force of the Void Herald. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Zora looked into Ilara's eyes, seeing not just pain and fear, but a fierce determination. In that instant, something shifted between them, a connection deeper than either had ever experienced. With a surge of strength born of desperation, Zora pulled Ilara free from the void tendril. They collapsed together, limbs and tentacles entangled, as the quantum anomaly behind them began to pulse with blinding intensity. "It's working," one of the alien scientists shouted. "The beacon is stabilizing the dimensional rift." The tendrils of darkness recoiled as waves of quantum energy washed over them. The viewport sealed itself, reality knitting back together before their eyes. On the main screen, they watched in awe as the Void Herald's massive forms were pushed back, retreating to the spaces between dimensions. As the immediate danger passed, Zara became acutely aware of Ilara's warmth pressed against her, the human's heartbeat a rapid tattoo against her alien skin. They disentangled themselves slowly, almost reluctantly. "That was some quick thinking, Dr. Chen," Zara said softly, her usual formality slipping. Ilara grinned, though her eyes held a new depth as she gazed at the alien diplomat. "Couldn't have done it without you, Ambassador. Seems we make a pretty good team." Before Zora could respond, Captain Zalon burst into the lab, his compound eyes flickering with a mixture of relief and concern. "The Void Heralds have retreated for now, but this is far from over. That beacon won't hold them back forever." Ilara nodded, her face set with determination. "Then we need to take the fight to them. Captain, set a course for the edge of forever. It's time we learn the truth about these Void Heralds." As the stellar horizon limped through space, its systems still reeling from the dimensional incursion, Zara found herself pondering the events of the past few hours. She had nearly lost Ilara. The thought sent an unfamiliar pang through her alien heart. These humans, with their fragile bodies and fiery spirits, were proving to be far more resilient and far more precious than she had ever imagined. In her quarters later, Zara received a transmission from the High Council. Vex's crystalline form shimmered into view, his faceted eyes unreadable. "Ambassador," he intoned, "your report is troubling. The Confederation has never faced a threat of this magnitude. We are considering extreme measures." Zara's tentacles writhed with unease. "What kind of measures, Counselor?" Vex's voice was cold. "There is a protocol, last enacted eons ago. If a threat to the galaxy cannot be contained, the affected sector is to be quarantined permanently." Horror dawned on Zara as she understood the implications. "You mean to seal off Earth's entire solar system, trap the void heralds there, along with billions of innocent lives? The needs of the many, Ambassador. You have one planetary rotation to find an alternative solution. After that, we must act to preserve the greater galaxy." Vex out. As the transmission ended, Zara slumped against the wall, her mind reeling. She had come to Earth as a reluctant diplomat. Now, she found herself the only thing standing between humanity and total annihilation. With newfound resolve, Zara headed for Ilara's quarters. Together, they had already achieved the impossible. Now they would need to do it again, not just for Earth, not just for the Confederation, but for the very fabric of reality itself. As she approached Ilara's door, Zara felt a flutter in her alien hearts. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew one thing with absolute certainty. Her fate was now inexorably entwined with that of humanity, and with Ilara Chen in particular. The universe, it seemed, had a strange sense of humor indeed. Singularity's edge. The stellar horizon hurtled through the cosmic void, its quantum drives pushing the limits of known physics. In the ship's central strategy room, a holographic representation of the galaxy swirled, a tiny blip marking their progress towards the ominously named Edge of Forever. Zara paced anxiously, her tentacles twisting in complex patterns that betrayed her inner turmoil. She hadn't yet told Ilara about the Confederation's ultimatum, the weight of billions of lives pressed down on her alien consciousness. "You're brooding again," Ilara's voice cut through Zara's thoughts. The human scientist entered the room, dark circles under her eyes betraying her own exhaustion. "What aren't you telling me, Zara?" For a moment, Zara considered deflecting, but the earnest concern in Ilara's gaze broke through her diplomatic facade. With a heavy sigh, she recounted her conversation with the High Council. Ilara's reaction was explosive. "They can't do that. There has to be another way. We've come too far to just give up." "I agree," Zara said softly, surprising herself with the conviction in her voice. "Which is why we need to accelerate our plans. Captain Salon." The insectoid captain materialized on a nearby holoprojector, his compound eyes shimmering. "Yes, Ambassador. How soon can we reach the Edge of Forever?" Salom's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. "At maximum burn, perhaps 6 Earth hours. But Ambassador, the strain on our engines." "Do it," Zara and Ilara said in unison, sharing a brief smile at their synchronicity. As the ship surged forward, reality outside the viewports began to warp and twist. Strange, fractal patterns danced across the stars, and occasionally, glimpses of other dimensions flickered at the edges of perception. In the quantum lab, Zara and Ilara worked feverishly, fine-tuning their makeshift dimensional beacon. Other scientists, both human and alien, bustled around them, but the two remained in their own world, communicating in half-finished sentences and intuitive gestures. "If we modulate the quantum frequency to match the Void Herald's energy signature," Ilara mused, her fingers dancing across holographic equations. Zara's tentacles intertwined with the holograms, manipulating variables. "We could potentially create a feedback loop, disrupting their ability to maintain cohesion in our dimension." "Exactly," Ilara beamed. "Zara, you're brilliant." The alien diplomat felt a warm glow at the compliment, her iridescent skin shimmering with pleased bioluminescence. She was about to respond when the ship lurched violently, throwing them both off balance. Red alert klaxons blared as Captain Zarlon's voice echoed through the ship. All hands, brace for dimensional transit. We've reached the edge of forever. The viewports blaze with impossible colors as the stellar horizon pierced the veil between realities. For a moment that stretched into eternity, every crew member experienced their lives in parallel, every choice, every possibility, playing out simultaneously. When reality reasserted itself, the view beyond the ship left everyone speechless. They floated in a vast, swirling maelstrom of energy and matter. Ribbons of light danced between colossal, crystalline structures that defied Euclidean geometry, and at the center of it all, a swirling vortex of absolute darkness, the heart of the void herald's domain. By the cosmic egg, Zarlon whispered, his usual stoicism shattered. It's beautiful. Ilara gripped Zora's tentacle, her eyes wide with wonder and fear. Zora, look, those crystals, they're like nothing I've ever seen. The energy readings are off the charts. Before Zora could respond, a booming voice echoed through their minds, bypassing their ears entirely. In 3D ears, motifs of duest upon the cosmic wind. Why have you tell to the realm between realms? The crystal structures pulsed in time with the words, and tendrils of void energy began to coalesce, forming a colossal, vaguely humanoid shape. Zora stepped forward, her diplomat's training kicking in despite the unprecedented situation. Great ones, we come seeking understanding. Your incursions into our reality threaten countless lives. Surely, there must be a way for our dimensions to coexist peacefully. A sound like the laughter of dying stars reverberated through the ship. P.E.C. We are Hungier NCRAT. The void must feed. Your reality is but fuel for the eternal darkness. Ilara joined Zora, her face set with determination. But why our reality? Surely there are infinite dimensions to choose from. The void entity seemed to consider this. Your QUNTUM make DLNGHAS manate your die NEN Sion. Unique he Eli delectable. A faeist unlike any other. Zora and Ilara exchanged glances, a plan forming between them without words. Ilara spoke up, her voice strong despite her fear. What if we could offer you an alternative? A source of energy even greater than our entire dimension. The void tendrils writhed with interest. Speak, timely one, UAMUCUS. As Ilara launched into an explanation of their quantum beacon theory, Zora quietly interfaced with the ship's systems. If this gamble failed, she would need to be ready to enact a desperate last resort. The fate of two civilizations, of reality itself, hung in the balance. As Zora looked at Ilara, passionately arguing with a being of near-infinite power, she felt a swell of emotion she could no longer deny. Whatever happened next, they would face it together, a union of human and alien that might just save the universe. The edge of forever pulsed around them, time and space bending to the will of cosmic forces beyond comprehension. In this crucible of creation and destruction, a new future was about to be forged, one that would change the course of galactic history forever. Cosmic Symphony. The void entity's formless mass swirled, considering Ilara's proposition. Tendrils of darkness probed the quantum beacon, sending shivers through the stellar horizon's hull. Intriguing, the cosmic voice boomed. Your science tisicaliers the edges of comprehension, but it is insufficient. Zara stepped forward, her iridescent skin pulsing with determination. Great one, perhaps a demonstration is in order. Allow us to show you the true potential of our discovery. A ripple passed through the void, almost like amusement. Proceed, moti of dust, entertain us. Ilara's eyes widened as she realized Zara's intent. "Are you sure about this?" she whispered. "We've never tested it at full power. The risks are worth taking," Zara finished, her tentacle gently squeezing Elara's hand. "Trust me." With a nod to Captain Cylon, Zara initiated the quantum beacon's activation sequence. The ship's engines roared to life, channeling unprecedented levels of energy into the device. The edge of forever itself seemed to hold its breath as reality rippled around them. The quantum beacon pulsed, each wave of energy more intense than the last. Crystalline structures in the void dimension began to resonate, creating a cosmic symphony of light and sound. "Now," Zara shouted. Elara slammed her hand down on the final activation sequence. A blinding flash erupted from the quantum beacon, momentarily outshining the darkness of the void itself. When the light faded, a miracle hung before them. A miniature galaxy swirled in the space between dimensions, stars being born and dying in accelerated time, cosmic dust coalescing into planets and moons. Fascinating, the void entity rumbled. "You Haley CREATT, life." Zara's tentacles danced across the controls, expanding the demonstration. "Not just life, Great One. An entire universe, condensed and accelerated. A never-ending source of energy and complexity, far more satisfying than consuming existing realities." The void tendrils reached out, cradling the miniature galaxy with surprising gentleness. "We HFY are uncountless realities, yet never tested anything like this. Explain." Elara stepped forward, her scientific passion overriding her fear. "It's a quantum nursery. By harnessing the energy of the void itself, we can create pocket universes, each one unique and teeming with possibilities. You could nurture them, watch them grow, and when they reach their natural end, start anew. An eternal cycle of creation and consumption." The cosmic entity was silent for a long moment, its vast consciousness contemplating implications beyond mortal understanding. Finally, it spoke. "Your OFFE range is acceptable. We shall WITGR from your reality in EX8NG for DAS technology." Relief washed over the crew of the stellar horizon, but Zara remained cautious. "And what assurance do we have that you'll honor this agreement?" A sound like the laughter of collapsing stars echoed through their minds. "Clever Moti, you learn quickly, very well. We shall import upon you a fraction of our monothorilag. Use it wisely." Suddenly, Zara and Elara found their minds expanding, filled with cosmic secrets and interdimensional wisdom. They gasped in unison, overwhelmed by the influx of information. "This knowledge will allow you to monitor the boundaries between realities," the entity explained. "Should we be reach our agreement, you will know." As the void began to recede, pulling back from the edges of their dimension, Captain Cylon's voice cut through the awed silence. "Ambassador, Doctor, we're receiving a priority transmission from Earth." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the face of UN Secretary-General Chen. His eyes widened at the sight of the interdimensional backdrop. "Dr. Chen, Elara, is that you? What's happening out there?" Elara smiled, exhaustion and exhilaration warring on her face. "Dad, you wouldn't believe me if I told you, but the threat is over. We did it." As Elara explained the situation to her father and the gathered world leaders, Zara found herself overcome with a strange emotion. Pride, yes, but something more. She watched Elara's animated gestures, the passion in her voice as she described their adventure, and felt a warmth spreading through her alien form. The journey back to Earth was a blur of debriefings, scientific analysis, and hurried preparations for the monumental changes coming to both human and Confederation society. The quantum nursery technology promised to revolutionize energy production, space exploration, and the very nature of reality itself. As the stellar horizon entered Earth's orbit, Zara and Ilara stood together in the observation deck, watching the blue marble grow larger. "So," Ilara said softly, "what happens now? Back to business as usual. You to your confederation, me to my lab." Zora's tentacles twined gently with Ilara's fingers. "I don't think anything will ever be usual again, Ilara. The Confederation will need an ambassador to oversee this new partnership with Earth, and Earth will need a scientific liaison to the galaxy." Their eyes met, an unspoken question hanging between them. "You know," Ilara mused, a mischievous glint in her eye, "I once said I'd never date a human. Seems only fair to extend that policy to aliens too." Zora's skin shimmered with amusement. "How fortunate, then, that I have no intention of merely dating you, Dr. Chen. I believe we've moved rather beyond that, wouldn't you say?" As their lips and tentacles met in a kiss that defied the laws of biology, the first rays of Earth's sun peeked over the horizon. A new day was dawning, not just for their two species, but for the entire cosmos. In the vastness of space, watched over by entities beyond mortal comprehension, a most unlikely love had blossomed, and with it, the promise of a future brighter than any star in the sky.